The never-ending story. The energy this week is giving various parts of that iconic movie. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you check it out because there are so many elements in that movie that actually display so much reality through symbolic representation. Okay. So two parts are really coming up for me in that movie this week. The first one is when Artax, the horse, magical white horse, right? We're in the year of the fire horse, gets stuck in that pond mud of sadness and he drowns. He literally gets stuck in this mud, except he's just consumed. And it's a part of life, right? Sometimes there are pieces of our existence that feel like we're literally stuck in the mud. And we have two choices. We have the choice to keep going, obviously, or be consumed by the mud. So that's one of the things that we'll talk about for this week as we get into some pretty potent energy. Another part that is really standing out this week is when Atreyu needs to pass a series of worthiness tests. And one of these tests is that he needs to move through the Sphinx gateway, which is these big freaking statue with laser eyes. And if you doubt yourself during this passageway, it will literally annihilate you along your path. So he had to stand confident. He had to stand pure of heart, and he had to know who he was, what his heart was worth, and where he was going, okay, to get through that test. And I feel like that's the energy coming up, all right? That is what we're moving into. And we're really being asked, are we worthy? Do we think, not even are we worthy, but do we think we are worthy to go where we are going? Do we think we deserve what we are building? And what, if anything, is going to get us stuck in the mud and provide hiccups of hopelessness, all right? And if you know me, and I don't know if I can show this on YouTube because it's got some naked parts on it, I have on my shoulder the Sphinx from the Neverending Story. There's part of that tattoo, right? So I personally resonate with this so very much. And that's the image that Spirit's showing me for this week. Okay, so let's get into it. First and foremost, we are in this massive eclipse corridor. We have been talking about it. The nodes have switched signs, right? From that Virgo Pisces to the Leo Aquarius. That's a big deal. So coming up on the 12th, and we will talk about this in next week's reading more. But we're going to have a solar eclipse, new moon, right, in Leo. And that's a big deal. Okay. We also have entered into that Lion's Gate portal. What does that mean? It is the 8-8 portal. Okay. So it is a very karmic portal. We are working on things that have kept us in loops. And I've been talking about this in my readings. So if you haven't followed me, follow me. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Steph, aka Mistful Musings with Morgana. Make sure to like and subscribe. But anyways, we have been talking about those loops, those patterns, those cycles. They probably are coming up this week, aka the mud that is stopping you from moving through this gateway or screwing with your feelings of being worthy, right? And having the confidence to move into the portal of your dreams. So this gateway on Saturday, the 8-8 gateway, the Lion's Gateway, because we're in Leo, right? Is this karmic loop. Like, where are we getting stuck in the mud? And where can we transform those wounds, right? And turn them into our magician's wands, right? Where we're going to alchemize those wounds and we're going to move them into abundance, right? What we truly deserve because we know we are worth it, all right? And as a side note, Lionsgate is also when the sun and Sirius line up in Leo, okay? Not so much an astrological event, but more like a numerological event and an energetic portal, an energetic gateway. Also, just like a little side note, protect yourself in this gateway, okay? Because there are a lot of other energies that don't mean the best, right? Don't have the best intentions, ready to loosh your energy. Okay, so use a lot of protection if you're going to do manifestation work or whatever, really dive into the energy this weekend. Okay, just a little side note. All right, we also have on Monday, Chiron, the wounded healer, moved retrograde into Taurus. All right, and it's going to be retrograde through January of next year. The wounded healer gives us an opportunity to really dive into those spaces. It's giving us a key, being like, here's the key to the portal to unlock what is holding you up. Here's the key to the portal so that you can get out of that mud and use this energy to gain your wand, right? It's to manifest what you really want and deserve, okay? So where and what is calling you to look inside yourself? And Chiron, we all have it differently in our chart. So look up your birth chart, see where Chiron is in your chart, see what house it is. And you can gather some really individual and personalized information that way, okay? I love Astro Cafe, Astrology Cafe. I'll drop the link right here, okay? So that you can type in your birth chart too. That's like one of my favorite websites for that. And it gives you such detailed, you don't need to be an astrology person to understand it. It'll break it all down for you, okay? So Chiron is going to be that like main wound of your lifetime, right? Something that you're going to like revisit and revisit and revisit again. It's something that is going to be a shadow work piece your entire human existence, right? And one of the big goals is to transform that Chiron wound. When it comes into Taurus, it is going to have to do with your self-worth, right? How you feel grounded, how you feel founded, how you manifest money, how you manifest abundance, right? Your worth, right? Your home, how you feel secure, and confident in what you're doing. So it's going to be in Taurus through September, and then in September, it moves retrograde into Aries, which really will like light things up for you, right? So that you can do something with it, or at least like get inspired to really dive into it in more fiery, inspirational ways. And it'll gift you that creativity button to shift it and transform it. Because remember, friends, energy is never created nor destroyed. It only changes form. Boop, boop. Rule of the world, rule of science. Okay. We also have Venus moving into Libra, which it loves Libra, right? That's a good, juicy little space for it. So we're getting balance. We're getting like romanticizing. We're getting like zhuzh, with our love, with our relationships, with our self-love. So use this Venus to really get in touch with what your heart wants. We also had Mercury going direct. Hallelujah. Thank the freaking Lord. And it's going direct in Leo, which means that communication might be really clear. Communication might be a little fiery. Communication might be very direct. So utilize that space. So we are looking at, as we move into this corridor, this eclipse corridor, as we move through this Lionsgate portal, we are asking ourselves, what is working? What is not working? What do we need to keep? What do we need to release? We may experience a breakdown before a breakthrough, where, remember, we're turning our wounds, our heart wounds, and that space of mud, and we're gathering that wand for alchemy, and we are becoming the magician. We are really, truly attempting to get into the center of our heart work. Okay, and where your heart is really calling for. And it's calling for you to be confident. It's calling for you to be sure. It's calling for you to be clear. all right? And you're walking through that Sphinx portal with that inside of you, okay? But you got to do the work first. You're going to have to go through that mud, right? And pull yourself out of the mud and transform those wounds before you step even in the corridor of the Sphinx. So, what are you worth? What is your heart worth? Do you receive from yourself and others what your heart is worth? And do you ask for that? Do you expect it? All right. This is the week to follow the dreams and ambitions and the energy of your heart. So have strength, have confidence, and really jump into that space of aligned flow. Okay. And as a little personal note, before we get into cards, as a little personal note, okay, I was feeling a little stuck in the mud today. Just that was the vibe. Actually, the past 2 days. Okay. And Spirit, I kept hearing little bells in my ears, and Spirit speaks to me in very various ways. And as I was walking back into my office, I heard Spirit say, look up. And so I looked up, and there was this random wispy cloud. It was all like blue sky. And there was this random wispy cloud, and it looked like an angel. And I was like, oh my God, like, thank you. Thank you, universe. And then I looked down to my left, and on this daylily, there was a flippin' feather stuck in where the flower would bloom. And I took pictures of it. You'll see it in a second. That is so freaking random. And so when we're talking about, being stuck in the mud and like needing support and asking for help, we also have to be open to receive. And today for me, as an example, remember last week I got stung by the wasp and Spirit used me to move the message through. Today, we saw that. I felt stuck in the mud. We saw the little cloud angel, and we saw this random, most unique feather stuck in a flower bloom. And I just needed to pass that message along to you. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go into our card reading. So I pre-shuffled and I pulled our first 2 oracle cards because it just takes too long. But I'm always so pleasantly surprised. And here's also a random synchronistic happening before I started recording. So before I started recording, I was like, I feel like a different essential oil. I want to wear something different. And so I pulled orange out of my little essential oil cabinet that I've got in my office. And I was reading it, and it says vitality. Okay. And I'm going to show you it to be like, look, okay, is the orange essential oil. It says vitality on it right there. Okay. So I do this right before I start recording, and I feel all the buzzes of Spirit speaking to me, and I'm clearing like all the things right before I start. Shuffle the Time Traveler's Oracle deck. And what do we pull? Chills, cannot make this ish up. Number 44. Number 1, it's the sun, and it's vitality. Come the freak on. Like, I cannot make this stuff up. This is crazy. Like, I feel, again, they're using me to help promote the message. Okay. So the sun vitality. And it is this, this eclipse portal. And I feel like it's like this Lionsgate manifestation portal, right? It's the light in the Sphinx's eyes to like really put the heat on your seat for things. Okay. And number 44 is such a holy number. All right. So let's read about vitality. This is truly a time of expansion for you. Don't hold back. Your ability to sense and respond to the energy fields around you is expanding at this time. The sun symbolizes energy, positivity, clarity, and confidence. And yes, we're in Leo season, and the sun represents Leo, right? It's the lion, strength, confidence, patience, perseverance. Be the motherfucking sun. Sunshine can bring about self-assurance and joy, vitality, health, abundance, passion, love. They're all expanding in your life right now, or have the potential to expand in your life at this moment. If you've been thinking about stepping into the role of a healer, this is your sign. This is also a sign to look into your own desires. And by healer, we don't need to mean like healing everybody, or you know what I mean? Like facilitating healing sessions. This could mean using Chiron retrograde and working on your own healing abilities in that space so that you can be the magician. Let others know what you want and need. Allow your emotions the freedom to be expressed. It's important to know that you don't need to run on your own resources. Remember, receive. Simply allow yourself to be a channel for life force energy of the universe to flow through you and replenish your soul and the souls of those around you, if that's what you feel called for. So, first card in this reading is the Sun, and it could not be more perfect. The second deck that we are pulling from, and I haven't pulled from this in forever, it's the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's the Animal Spirit deck, and I freaking love it. So we got Zebra. Ooh, Zebra. To me, first off the bat too, that's a card of balance, right? With the dark and the light, the shadow, and we need to, obviously we can't walk through the Sphinx gateway if we haven't done our shadow work, right? They both exist in the same container, right? One hand shadow, one hand light. Balance it out because they both got lessons. So the zebra has to do with being eccentric, creative, and a visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart and well-cultured and have an undying curiosity of life. Being in the company of a zebra personality is not only a delight, but also opens our minds. So be prepared. Their potent magic is contagious, and you may soon find yourself in a faraway land, expanding your worldwide view while also having a freaking blast. Hell yeah. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environmentalism and volunteer work. So this card may be a hint to maybe pack up your bags and have an adventure. When in balance, the zebra is worldly, enthusiastic, and fashion forward. Kind of sounds like Venus and Libra. When out of balance, the zebra can be jaded, pouty, and vain. Also kind of sounds like an out of balance Leo. To bring it back into balance, have an epic adventure or be creative. And again, you don't really have to go anywhere to have an epic adventure, right? You could pick up something new, like a hobby. You could talk to somebody new. You could just put yourself out there in a different way, right? The only way to get through this Sphinx portal is to put yourself out there. Okay, so now let's jump into our tarot cards and to clarify this kind of energy. So Spirit, what do we need to know about Lionsgate, about this eclipse portal? How can we stay vibrant and vital? How can we be ready for adventure while also addressing our wounded healer and our shadow space? Thank you. One more. Just one. We're going to do one more. One more. Thank you. Oh, fell on the floor. All right. So we have, okay. First of all, I like this. The first card we got is the Chariot. Okay. Do we see a resemblance here? Weird. Okay. So the Chariot. The Chariot is the universe being like, hey, boo, we got you. Jump in. We're going to pull you somewhere holy. Okay. So you just got to flow and enjoy the ride. Don't try to get out. Don't try to control things. Otherwise, you're going to tip your ride over. So you have to seek balance between the shadow and the illuminated side. And you have to know that you are worthy enough to sit in the chariot. And if you co-create with the universe, you will be guided to your next space. So use this portal, use this ride, use this blessing as they move you through to your next becoming. The second card we got here, another major arcana, is the Hermit in reverse. You know what? You've done the work. We did a lot of work in like Taurus season, Cancer season, Gemini season, specifically Cancer season with all the like Mercury retrograde and stuff. And like, whew, it was really hard for a lot of people, right? And we're still kind of in the mud. We've been in this hermit mode. We've been kind of maybe we pull back a little bit to kind of, transform some wounds or work on ourselves or whatever we've been doing to get illuminated. And Spirit is saying it's time to come out, come out wherever you are, right? Because you can't hide in the cave. You can't hide and be a hermit forever, right? It is time to come out of hiding. So if you have been avoiding people, places, situations, and I think we talked about this on one of my other readings, if you have been saying no when you really need to be saying yes, then this is your sign, right? Get out of your house, go do different things, right? Embrace that zebra spirit. You embrace the sun, go increase your vitality, right? And come out of the cave, because you will never experience new things and you will never be able to walk through that Sphinx portal, truly transforming that wound into a wand if you stay hidden. Okay, it's time to do the things, say the things, and perhaps part of that wounding that Chiron has for you is a fear of being seen or a fear of being heard. And so many of us have that fear because of lifetimes and lifetimes being oppressed and ixnayed, right, in previous lifetimes. And the last tarot card we got here is the Five of Wands. And this is a lot, to me, this is distraction energy, okay? This is fighting, this is getting pulled away from like your soul work. The Wands energy is fiery, angry, it is can be creative in its positive side, right? It can be like new adventures, but here it's like people are trying to cause problems. And maybe this is a little bit of warning, right? Be mindful of who you say yes to, right? Because guess what? Not everyone around you is good. And people want to steal your sun. People want to steal your light. Things want to steal your energy. So be mindful of those distractions. Be mindful of people that just want to start fights to pick a fight, right? And we're going to pull a card to clarify this too. So Spirit, please, we're going to clarify Five of Wands. Give us one card to clarify Five of Wands. Thank you very much. All right. And we got the Temperance. All right. The Temperance is literally taking two different things, melding them as the alchemist, right? Finding balance between the two things and creating a new form, and it's blessed by the sun. So this is perhaps taking the wound and, some kind of magic and making a wand out of that. So don't let distractions loose your energy, okay? Remember who you are. Remember, Spirit is opening this corridor for you to turn water into wine, right? Be the alchemist. Turn that wound into the wand to truly reflect your heart space, right? But trust Spirit. Stay in that little chariot, right? Stay in that little cart. If you try to fight your way through or force your way through, you are going to become out of balance. You're going to come out of balance and you're going to tip your cart over, right? So this is about staying in balance and really mastering, right? Or I should say implementing what you mastered in the cave while you did your work, right? And you're coming out as the magician with the potion. You're turning water into wine. You're turning your wound into your wand. All right, let's finish up with an angel card. The Spirit and our angels and the highest good of all, please give us one angel card for the collective today for this reading. Nope. Thank you. Okay. Okay. We got trust. Number 232. It says, trust in yourself and the universe. Have faith in the divine plan and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. And what is the big thing here, right? We have to trust. If we don't want to tip our cart, we have to trust where we are being led. We have to trust in our ability to turn our wound into our wand. We have to trust that we are here and can heal ourselves. And in turn, we can fill ourselves and connect with that vitality. And we can walk. We are strong enough to walk through this eclipse corridor, this lion's gateway, right? But we have to trust. We've got it all inside. We're ready, primed and ready for a new adventure. But we have to bring that kind of muddy experience, right, that our text was dealing with this grand opportunity to use those muddy situations and triumph over them, right? Have confidence in yourself, right? Follow the dreams and inspirations and strength of your heart through that Sphinx gateway, right? Of the Lion's Gate, right? Moving through that infinity sign and breaking free and really creating something different and cool for yourself, right? So maybe journaling is a really great opportunity for you this week. Track where that mud is in your life and how you can kind of mold that mud into a chalice. All right, friends, this is your reading. Remember to like and subscribe. If you would like to work with me, all of my info is in the description box. Otherwise, I am wishing you lots of love and blessings. Take care.